Οφειλέστατε, κύριοι Υπουργοί, Σοβαροί Υπουργοί, τέλη της Κυβερνήσεως, αγαπητοί φίλοι, αγαπητέ φίλε Τέρανς Κουίκ, ευχαριστούμε που σε τέτοιες δύσκολες στιγμές είσαι μαζί μας. Αγαπητέ Επίτροπε κύριε Φωτίου, σε ευχαριστούμε για όλη τη διοργάνωση και για όσα κάνεις για μας στο εξωτερικό. Επίσης θα ήθελα να ευχαριστήσω τη Θάλια Αντωνίου, η οποία δουλεύει για εσάς και κάνει μια τεράστια δουλειά. I wanted to also recognize the Ambassador of the United States, since I'm American, and it's good practice to recognize Ambassador Catherine Doherty. I also wanted to recognize Mike Manitos of Manitos and Manitos, that's here for the first time. And Mike, thank you very much for all the work that you do, the dedication. On Friday, for those of you that will be at the conference, you will see an unbelievable video that Mike prepared from congressmen and senators that will express their policy vis-a-vis Turkey, Greece, and the United States. I also wanted to thank all the presidents of all the federations for their work. In particular, I want to thank my good friend Kyriakos Papastilianou, president of the Federation of Greek Cypriot Organizations in the United States, because PSEKA in the United States and the Federation work very, very closely together, along with all the other organizations, IHEPA that's being represented today, my good friend Nikos Mouyaris, who's not here with us, he's giving his own fight against cancer, but still, even from the hospital, he calls and he dedicates himself to the cause of the Greek Cypriot people. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, perhaps this particular conference coincides with the 44th anniversary of the illegal Turkish invasion. 44 years of occupation, 44 years of negotiations, 44 years of discussions, 44 years of debates, 44 years of failures in finding a solution to the Cyprus problem. As President of PSEKA and on behalf of all the delegates, we owe an apology to the Greek Cypriot people because we have not been able to contribute enough to free Cyprus from the occupation. But at the same time, I want to assure you, Mr. President, that we wake up every morning with Cyprus in our mind, and we go to sleep at night thinking of Cyprus. Our passion, our dedication is as strong as ever. And those of us that live abroad work very, very hard on a daily basis to make sure that the struggle of the Cypriot people to free them from this occupation. I wanted in particular to salute the 9th conference of the young people, NEPOMAK, and to thank Antonia for her work during this past 10 years. A new generation, the torch has been passed to these young people that are here. They have the knowledge, they have the expertise, they know social media, they know social networking, and they are capable of carrying the torch in the future. This young generation will help us to counter the massive public relations of Turkey, the massive campaigns of Turkey in the United States and in other countries as well. Turkey is a problem. Recently, the Deputy Foreign Minister of Turkey has said to the journalists, there is a misinformation regarding Cyprus. Even if there was not a Turkish minority, we would have a problem with the Republic of Cyprus, and we will have an issue. The sentiment was expressed in the book of Mr. Davutoglu as well, when he said, even if there were no Turks in Cyprus, we would have invented them. Under the total control and supreme president and dictator of Turkey, Mr. Erdogan, he has slowly in the last 10 years not only occupied Cyprus with his 43,000 troops, but he colonized the island with 400,000 settlers. Last year, I pledged an allegiance and I recited the Pledge of Allegiance to one flag and one republic. And I called upon the Turkish Cypriots to join the fight against the Turkish occupation. We invited Turkish Cypriots to Washington, D.C. 4 leaders of the Turkish Cypriots visited Washington, D.C. They visited congressmen, senators. They asked for their support, not for a bi-zonal or a bi-communal solution. They asked for their support to free Cyprus from an occupation. Those Turkish Cypriots that visited the State Department, and Madam Ambassador, you should know, they said, we only feel free when we are in the free area of Cyprus. The illegal settlers are suppressing the Turkish Cypriot minority. They have imported extremist fundamentalists from Turkey. Our churches have been converted to mosques, and extremist imams are preaching the Quran and Islamic fundamentalism in the occupied area of Cyprus. The truth is, Turkey is not ready to give up control of the occupied area. And regardless of all the negotiations that have gone during this past 44 years, whether it was Dektaş, Talat, or Akinci, the bottom line, Turkey controls all negotiations. And not only are they not ready to give up control, the truth is they are ready to annex the occupied area of Cyprus and making it the first Islamic state of the Western world. This is a danger not only for Cyprus, this is a danger for Europe, because the plans of Mr. Erdogan is to export Islamism and fundamentalism in all of Europe. This is a very sensitive subject in the United States of America. And those of you who have passed the Washington Times article that we wrote, and with congressmen and senators that we have discussed, along with the Turkish Cypriots that visited us, and the theme should be to stop the Islamic fundamentalists from entering the occupied area of Cyprus. And we call upon not only President Trump, but the Western world to stop this Islamic fundamentalism that is taking place in the occupied area. There is no question that the 65 million mosque that was built in the occupied area was there for a reason. There is no question that those settlers that came from Turkey are there for a reason. And that is why we call upon all Turkish Cypriots to join us in fighting the occupation. And we ask for their support to remove the Turkish troops, to remove the settlers, and to remove those extremist fundamentalists from the occupied area of Cyprus. Our new vision in Washington, D.C. under this new administration, and on August 2nd we will see Deputy Secretary Wes Mitchell, is basically very simple. Both Turkish Cypriots and Greek Cypriots want to freedom from the occupation. They want the Turkish troops to withdraw. They want to live together in one republic, under one flag, united. And this is what we aspire to do. We are asking for President Trump and the Western world to stop the Islamic expansion that is taking place. This new vision requires a united front here in Cyprus. And Mr. Babaverdidis correctly said that this united front means that the political parties, I know we have a democracy, I know we have different views, but there is no question in my mind that we have to stand united and present a united front in regards to the solution of the Cyprus problem. At the same time, all of you are aware that Turkey has spent this past year $10 million per month in the United States for public relations campaigns. They are spending that money because people are questioning the reliability of Turkey as an ally of the United States. People are questioning the reliability of Turkey as a member of NATO. People are questioning Mr. Erdogan and his cronies for having violations of human rights, keeping an American citizen, Pastor Andrew Brunson, in jail for a year for preaching Christianity in Turkey. The reliability of Turkey as a true ally of the United States and a true ally of the West, it is now being questioned seriously, not only by congressmen and senators, but by the State Department as well. This presents an opportunity for all of us to unite, united together with one front, with one message: freedom from occupation. Never mind all the other things about bizonal, bicommunal, and all the other things that we're talking about. Let's talk about freedom from occupation, one united republic for all citizens. At the same time, we have not stopped our lobbying efforts. We are stopping the sale of the F-35 jets to Turkey. We are fighting the military, and we are fighting past congressmen and senators that are being paid by Turkey. We are fighting by ourselves, spending our own money. I call on the Cyprus government, and I have been saying this for 44 years. Our best offense is enlightenment and public relations. There is no excuse for having a budget of a small amount. This is the time to have a budget for public relations, enlightenment, to let the world know that this Christian state is being an Islamic fundamentalist state today. My friends, and to the younger generation that are going to carry on, I want all of you, 120 of you, to know that you have promises to keep. Promises to your parents, promises to your grandparents, to continue the struggle, to make sure that Cyprus is free of occupation. So regardless of how tired we are, how disappointed, and I don't care how much they criticize us, I want to tell you that our passion, our dedication is as strong as ever. My friends, the work goes on, the hope endures, and the dream of freedom will come soon, and we will return to getting it. Thank you.